Win or go home once again for the Cubs. Can they avoid a sweep? We talk about it all right now.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Well, I kept thinking this throughout the day today as we record here on a Tuesday evening, Cubs facing an elimination game. In the end, only the results matter.
Mm-hmm.
The Cubs have made a lot of improvements within their organization over the last few years. They won 92 games this year, made the playoffs first time in a full season since 2018. But the same problem, the same team looms over them. And folks, the Brewers are better. They've been better for 7+ years. Maybe this was the point the Cubs were always going to reach in the 2025 postseason. But Sam, they're getting beaten every aspect of the game so far this series. It hasn't even been close.
Yeah, it's really well said. We didn't talk about this. I had the exact same reaction today. My reaction was, how do you measure the fact that the Cubs made improvements, as you just said? And by the way, I did a nice radio spot on Grant Show over in Milwaukee today, and I mentioned this. Like, Brad Keller was a very Brewer-like, shrewd move and development system type.
Yeah.
Thielbar, Boyd, that's the type of guy the Brewers would sign and turn into being really good. Pomerantz, exactly. Kelly. You had a lot of guys, and they had some injuries too, but like, you had a lot of guys overperform that you got a lot out of that other organizations couldn't get out of. You won 92 games, and it just felt like, honestly, Matt, starting in about mid to late June is when the season started to be like, wait, but they're still this good, they being the Brewers, and they eventually caught us, and it just exactly how you put it. It's like we made these improvements as the Cubs, and yet the bar is still there for them, and now we're running into them. And I don't think it's the fact that the Cubs are down 2-0 right now, as you put, because only the results matter. And if they find a way to win 2-1, 3-2, and go back to Milwaukee, maybe we're having a different conversation. It's the way that they're down 2-0, right? Not enough pitching. They can't get through a couple innings with their starters, knowing that was going to be a problem basically all deadline. The offense, hitting a couple of random home runs and then just going to sleep innings 3 through 9, 4 through 9, the same sort of problems that the Cubs have had for a long time. And then you watch them and the way that they, not as much their pitching, because they've always been great with that, but the way that their offense is. Like, I found myself yesterday just like watching Blake Perkins just work at bats and in the 8 spot and be like, hey, I know that this dude doesn't have great numbers, but we don't have enough guys that work these type of at bats and grind. And It's just the differences in the organization that we've been talking about basically since we've had the program have just been on full display through 2 games in this series.
Well, and not coincidentally, the first show we did was after a Cubs-Brewers game.
Right. The Suzuki inside the Parker or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was optimistic the series would be a battle.
Me too.
After the Cubs won this season series, and they took 3 out of 5 in mid-August. That wasn't that long ago.
Yep.
But my reason for optimism is gone away now. And here we were hoping this series, I guess, could help convince ourselves that the gap between the teams is closed. And it absolutely has not.
No.
For as much better as you have gotten, it doesn't matter because that's how good they are. they've not only won the division this year and last, but they were the first team in baseball to clinch a playoff spot both times. They led baseball in wins this year. They have an identity that you've talked about an innumerable amount of times offensively that I wonder if it could change how teams build their own team.
100%.
Especially if they win the last game. They have a stable of pitchers, meaning the World Series. They have a stable of pitchers.
You said it beautifully. Winning at this point, you win the last game.
Offensively, and correct me if I'm wrong, their front office's relationship with the dugout is so good that they beat you with brains upstairs in the front office, and they give plenty of room for Pat Murphy to showcase what he does best in the dugout. And for 7+ years, it's just been a wrap.
Yeah, it's beautifully said. It's beautifully said. I don't have much more to add. I mean, I've been the guy that gets crushed for talking about the Brewers all year too much, so I don't have much to add. I think you said it the other day, though. I think the best thing that you said that describes it the best, because we could sit here, like, we're going to preview this game here coming up, and my biggest concern going into the game, spoiler alert, is like they're the type of team that might test Tyone off the mound with the wind blowing in, bunting and doing all those things. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I would define it as, and this is a real lazy way to say it, but
let's hear it. What is it?
Since Jed Hoyer's taken over the Cubs, the biggest difference between the Cubs and Brewers is the Brewers just know how to win. And you said this.
Exactly.
Like their best attribute is just knowing how to win. And there has not been a time since 2018 where we're playing against them and it's late in the game and it feels like we're going to win. I remember I was at the game, wasn't that long ago, August 20th, when they won that night game that Colin Ray pitched and Palencia almost blew the game. Contreras lined out to second. It just never felt like the Cubs were going to win. They won, but it never felt like they were going to win because the Brewers always find a way. And so that's why it's frustrating. And we're going to have, if the Cubs don't make a historical comeback here, we're going to have such an interesting time this offseason talking about what really is a successful year, 92 wins and a playoff series win versus how do you figure out? I mean, it's simple. If we ever had Jed Hoyer on the show or I was able to get him at the Cubs convention, my first question would be like, hey, are you guys at the point where you have to start looking exactly what's going on with the Brewers and start maybe emulating it and building your organization around what they're doing? Or does it still not matter and you're more concerned about yourself? Because it's just gotten to the point where they are the standard, unless the Cubs could do something dramatic, which, we're going to try and preview right now.
Unless I don't, and then to top it off, which we have plenty of time to discuss later, with in the offseason, I mean, have we brought up money this week?
Nah. We
haven't even brought it up, and that's the whole other layer to this.
Yeah, because there's two ways, right, that we'll talk about. There's two ways to change the outcome. Number one is just becoming better and more shrewd as an organization like they did this year, but another step forward. And the other step is to just start spending way more money. And even though you spend a lot more than them, spend even more than that to mitigate the difference in front office. But it just doesn't, there's no reason to talk about it because there's just zero signs that that's going to happen. I mean, Jesse Rogers literally in the middle of the game said, I mean, you saw that tweet. There's no shot they're going to bring back. And that's a different conversation with Tucker. I don't want to get into that right now. But the point is, it's like, that we just know is not going to happen. So
Milwaukee is the smallest market in the sport. And they won 97 games.
It's smaller than Tampa?
Yeah.
What defines that?
Yeah, I think
like size, like city size or
population.
Okay. Because Tampa has to spend less than they do, for sure.
Right. Yeah, but size of area, right?
Yeah.
All right, what are some paths to, what are the paths back possibly for the Cubs?
Winning a baseball game.
Really, it's just going to be about Game 3, and we get to that right after this.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. What is it? Already week 6. And FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I've never seen an offer like this. Switching over to baseball, folks, and it could be, I hope it's not, but it could be my last FanDuel Cubs reference until divisions and over-unders come out in the wintertime. Your Chicago Cubs are minus 120 favorites at Wrigley Field on Wednesday afternoon with an over-under of 6.5. See what happens. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Shout out to the everydayers. You become a Locked On Cubs everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week. All right, starting pitching for the Cubs. We know it's a messier situation. I think a path back for Game 3, which starts at 4:08 p.m. Central, Wednesday, Game 3 of the NLDS, would have to be the offense breaking out first.
Yeah.
And then it would snowball from there.
Yeah.
They need some type of breakout game, Sam. They haven't scored more than 3 runs in a playoff game since 2017. Is the magic number 4 or, 5 or 6 would probably be more of a true breakout.
Yeah.
And since September 1st this year, the Cubs have not scored more than 3 runs in 14 of 30 games, including the playoffs. This has been going on for a while. And they've barely, in the postseason, have had runners at second base. 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position. 58 strikeouts to 10 walks. You've heard all this before. And let me give you some stat lines here. Horner and Bush with nice lines in the postseason. How about these guys? Shaw is 0 for still.
Yeah.
Happ 2 for 19, Tucker and Swanson 3 for 17, Pete and Seiya 4 for 18. And
yeah, but I'm gonna say I hit 2 big homers.
True. Jamison Tyone will start for the Cubs on Wednesday. He was excellent last week, and in the final 6 starts of his regular season, posted a 1.57 ERA. Quinn Priester.
Yep.
Will be going for the Brewers. After he lost to the Cubs in May, the Brewers went 20-4 in games in which Priester pitched. Sam, they need to win this game or it's to the offseason mode.
Yeah, and my preview typically would be, hey, find a way to score 3, win one of your 3-1, 3-2 Wrigley Classics. Like you did against San Diego, because it's not going to be a good hitting environment. The over-under 6.5. The problem is that the Brewers don't rely on the home run ball a lot, so they should be able to thrive in those conditions too. Like I said, will they do some bunting and things like that? Find success? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like they're the ideal team you want to face with the wind blowing in, like a team like San Diego more would be. That's more different than that. But I mean, I definitely think the Cubs can win this game. J-Mo's going to have to be outstanding again, which he was, last week. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to go, I mean, it's just, you're going to see everybody, right? All the main relievers. Offensively, can you steal some bases? Can you have some action on the base paths? I don't know, can you get into a ball with a few guys on? But, Seiya did that. It's tough. There's a lot that needs to go right now. My biggest concern is it's twofold. It's, can the offense do something? And then can the Cubs hold this team? I mean, they're at bats right now. They just look really locked in. Because, like, the path is like a 3-2 win. Like, that's what a 4-3 type win. You know what I mean? With an over-under of 6.5, bad conditions, or bad hitting conditions, but it's just like, it's just really hard to envision after those first 2 games, this team, the Cubs holding them to 1 or 2 runs. They're just, at bats are really good. Now, in the Cubs defense, we have not seen Kittredge yet. We have not seen Keller yet. And Palencia made just a really bad pitch And if he makes that pitch tomorrow in the same spot, it's going to be an out. So, you know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see. I have a lot more to say about this game and this offense in our next segment because it's really Tucker specific. But outside of him, I mean, Pete just, he hasn't done anything in these 2 games. I think he had 1 hit. Love to see him get on and get the crowd going. I mean, do we have a stolen base in the postseason?
Well, going into Monday's game, they didn't, and I'm trying to think if they stole one last night. I don't.
Well,
think
no,
so.
Nobody was on base.
Right. So they have zero stolen bases.
Who stole? Colin Ray?
No, I pointed that out. Well, no, he never plays. I pointed that out the other day. 0 steals.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to put the ball in play. I mean,
Pete got a triple down the line. They fired everybody up.
Yeah, and they shouldn't strike out a lot against Priester.
Right. They should put the ball in play a lot.
I think he had 130 strikeouts and 160 innings. I mean, put the ball in play. A lot of pressure on J-Mo, by the way, who no matter what happens tomorrow, I'll never forget what he did in that elimination 1-1 game.
Right.
I listened to Counsell after the game, who didn't really sound overly optimistic about this team's chances. And he was kind of talking about how they need a long start or they need Tyone to go deep, because of the games the next day. It's who cares about Thursday?
I wonder if that would actually happen.
If Brad Keller has to pitch, well, no, that's a bad example. But if somebody else has to pitch 2 or 3 innings out of the pen, I don't care if you have to use every pitcher you have. Your season's on the line. Figure out Thursday.
Yeah. Well, to your point about the Brewers' offense, so I'm combining some of your points here, and I guess with the Counsell
it wasn't my best segment.
Well, if Tyone is rolling, do you just keep going, or after the 18 guys, do you go to the pen?
Yeah, I think.
I almost wonder if they just keep them going.
Well, I think my answer would be right now nobody's rolling against the Brewers. And so if you have if you have somebody that's having that much long success, you just go as long as he could go. And then when a couple guys get on, the problem with the Brewers is you got to keep them off the bases because they're gonna do stuff. They're gonna run on Tyone.
He's slow to the plate, man.
Yeah, they're gonna do a lot of things. You really need him to pretty much be sharp in all phases. I'll tell you that top of the first is going to be massive because the Cubs have been down pretty much the whole series after an inning. So to just hold them and to put up, a 1 or a 2 spot to just,
it'd be great.
Hey, we're hanging in here. Let's not get knocked out. I mean, they got knocked out in inning 1 in game 1, and they got knocked out in inning, 3 or 4 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
To at least compete here for a while.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't get Counsell's point. I find it to be borderline, I mean, I'm performing here.
But I paraphrased it. I mean, he just...
Well, but why couldn't Kittredge, Thielbar, Pomerantz, Palencia, and Keller pitch back-to-back days with a day off Friday if you win?
And Zambrano. At this point, I mean, put all hands on deck.
Where's Matt Clement?
Pryor's not far over there in L.A. as the pitching coach. Bring him in for some old memories.
Wow.
Can anybody get some outs against this team besides Colin Ray, who never pitches?
Oh man,
the only guys that get outs are Savali and Ray so far that have come in when the game's over.
2 trivia questions for you.
Oh no, I'm not there. I'm gonna go with
Nico Horner has 7 hits this postseason.
Milt Pappas.
He has the most postseason hits by a Cubs player since.
Wait, so he has 7 hits for the playoffs, and you're saying he has the most since for a whole playoffs or just a series?
Yeah, whole playoffs.
So since 2017.
That's right, 2017. Name the player.
Yeah, 2017. No, I don't think anybody got 7 hits against the
Someone
Dodgers.
Got 8.
Yeah, so 8 hits in the playoffs.
Yeah, they struggled that year offensively.
Yeah. Thinking.
Made the Final Four, though.
Baez hit 2 homers against the Dodgers. Wasn't him.
It was not. It was a player that I believe we're going to hear about later.
Zobrist?
Nope. Later this show, I meant.
Schwarber?
Chris Bryant.
Oh, Bryant. Oh, yeah, Bryant. Okay, yeah.
Chris Bryant. And
yeah, you are going to hear about him in a bit.
Last time a team stormed back from being down 2-0 in a division series. Have you seen this yet?
Was it? I remember the last one that I saw. I remember the Giants did it against the Reds in like 2012. So was it later than that? 2011?
Yeah, it was actually the same year from the first question. 2017 was the last time it happened.
Was it the Cardinals-Nats situation?
That's not what I have in front of me.
No, I don't know the answer. So I'm guessing.
Yankees over Cleveland.
Oh, don't remember that.
Yeah. All right.
No, I'm down 0-2, just like the Cubs.
Coming up next, Kyle Tucker. Man, is he struggling. And we talk about it next. Oof. Today's episode is brought to you by Rugiet. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis, but maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Go Long. That's exactly where Rugiet Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications and 1 dual-action formula so you can get hard and go the distance. The effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online. And if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right next to your door. If prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to Rugiet.com, Rugiet.com, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's Rugiet.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure to use our code so that they know we sent you for Rugiet. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs on your preferred audio platform or YouTube. That way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you. We'll be back right after the game on Wednesday. Well, they got him to be a star player, and he hasn't been. There was the stretch to begin the year. He was, and then some, named to the All-Star game. Then there was a really, really big drop-off. I have some numbers in front of me again for that. And this playoff, Sam, Kyle Tucker has been stuck.
Look, yeah, and this isn't a Kyle Tucker, let's go after Kyle Tucker. I think I'm done with that. This is more just observing that the Cubs brought in this guy to avoid what's happened in the second half of the season. And obviously he got hurt, and that's a part of it. And I'm not saying that it's not. But when I watch that lineup now, and even when I look at the discourse around the Cubs, nobody's talking about this guy like he's a superstar. It's just like he's one of the guys in the lineup. And when he gets a hit, it's hey, all right, maybe that's a sign. And you're right. It reminds me a lot. And we talked about this maybe off the air, but my comparison is it reminds me a lot of the post 2017 Chris Bryant. I think he was a little bit younger than Tucker is now, but it's like there's still greatness there. Like last night, that walk that he drew left on left against Ashby before the Suzuki homer was a great at bat. And Bryant had a lot of those still, but it just seems like with Tucker, when everything's right, he's still great. But you know, when something's off or it just goes south really quickly. And you know, there's reports now he's definitely not coming back. The Cubs aren't going to offer him. It's not really time to talk about that because that's going to be a really complicated thing to address because the Cubs are going to be right in not bringing him back, but it doesn't excuse the fact that the Cubs are like 14th in payroll.
Right.
But the point is we keep talking about how the offense needs to be better. The offense needs to be better. And all we did is preach all offseason that one of the ways to make the offense better is to go get a superstar. And let's be honest, like, can we just say it? He has not performed like a superstar overall this year. He did at the beginning of the year, and that's about it. And look, I get it. Aaron Judge has had Aaron Judge had a terrible postseason last year, and he is a superstar. Like, it happens. But the Cubs took a shot, and this Kyle Tucker second half or whatever it's been since June with injuries, that's absolutely a part of it. It's just hard to look at anything else. Like, you just talked about everyone else in the lineup. So far, you've gotten a bad hap 5 games, okay? I think even though he doesn't have a lot of hits, you've gotten a good Seiya. Okay, Kelly. Really good Nico. Really good Michael Busch. If Tucker's doing his thing, that's plenty. That's plenty around him. This team's not built around Seiya Suzuki. This offense isn't built around PCA. That was an incredible, unbelievable first half bonus that you got. And we're going to have to dissect what went wrong with PCA and how he could get back to being a competent offensive player. But this offense is built around Kyle Tucker's greatness. And he has not been great. And it's just when he comes up to the plate, you instead of going, all right, Tucker's up, you're just like, please don't roll over to the right side. And I just think they need him to be great. And if they win tomorrow and he actually gets a couple extra base hits or finds the basket to left center field, that would do so much for this team because that's what they need. Like, when you look at this Brewer lineup, they don't have, household names in it unless you want to still consider Yelich that, which I don't, but he's still good. But every single guy's dangerous in their own way. And they put the ball in play. They do all these things. The way to combat that, and this is what the Dodgers are going to try if they play them, is just be like, hey, man, we got Shohei Ohtani. Hey, we got Freddie Freeman. We got Mookie Betts. So, like, you could do all that stuff, but we're going to do everything. Like, that's why that matchup's so fascinating, because it's literally the kind of the small ball, small market offense that just battles and grinds versus, the priciest, biggest names in the sport. But Kyle Tucker's a big name, and he's not producing. And unfortunately, the Cubs aren't as good as the Dodgers. Ohtani hasn't done anything so far this playoffs. Oh, by the way, Ohtani didn't do that much in the World Series last year, but they're way better. Like, this team needs Kyle Tucker. The Yankees need Aaron Judge, and just haven't gotten it. And it's hard to look anywhere past that offensively until this guy starts hitting.
Yeah, he was a star for the 90 games. He ended up playing in 136. So then there's this 46-game pool that he really dropped off, especially during the 25 games from about mid-July to mid-August, where he hit 163 in 25 games. And the Cubs went 10-15 in those games. So it clearly impacted it at a team level too. And at the player level, he was clearly having a lot of problems. I hope we could see that Wednesday. I don't know what to call it, whether it would be a consolation prize, what ends up being a 4 or 5 game ouster, but it's a shame we couldn't see that until the end, even if it wasn't a losing effort. And I remember soaking up the first 90 games, but yeah, he definitely underwhelmed in a couple different areas, a couple different pockets of the year, especially the one right before the Angels series, and injuries limited him as well. And if there's any parallel to a Chris Bryant, he's going to be on that statue when they debut it this April, I believe. Or maybe we'll
it just reminds me of Bryant in that way of, like, when Bryant wasn't great all the time, like, there was just always something. He still put up good numbers. I don't think Kyle Tucker's going to, like, be that bad of a contract, but it's just one I'd be really weary of. And I think I compare
it's something to consider, though.
And I compare Tucker to Bryant in a good way too. Like, when they're really good, they're really, really good. But they just are similar. They have similar personalities too. They do.
All right. Do you have, similar to game 2, like a little bit of a more neutral feel pre-game?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't felt good in a minute here with this. Okay. I don't think they can't get swept. They just can't. They got to find a way to win tomorrow night. They got to. I don't feel great.
See what happens.
I don't feel great about it, but they got to find a way.
This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For your second listen, check out Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.